So the co-main event in the well, not the co-main event. We actually should have talked about the co-main event: Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman.
It's a very intriguing fight.
It is an intriguing fight.
I don't even know how to call that one because I haven't seen Tyron Woodley fight in so long, and he's getting older. I would have to really see what his camp was like.
Well, he just fought Darren Till. That wasn't
How
a
long ago
long,
was that?
that wasn't super long ago. What was that? Maybe five 5 or 6 months ago, maybe. The Darren Till fight was September. So yeah, about
Yeah,
a little
that's
over
not
six
too
months
bad.
ago.
So, do you think Woodley will be able to basically lame Usman out?
I think that it does make me the fight makes me a little bit nervous because Usman is such a good wrestler, and Usman is a good athlete. On top
Mhm.
of being that, the athleticism is the thing that makes me, gives me a little bit of pause. But Darren Till was also a good athlete, and Darren Till is ginormous.
Mhm.
So the way that Tyron depleted him with the one shot. See, that's the thing. We haven't seen Usman really hit. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him hit by a big time striker,
Yeah,
right?
that's what's
And
scary about Woodley. Is Woodley? We talked about this with Adrian Broner, right? Where
mhm,
he wants to be a counterpuncher, but he's not advancing the defense as the fight goes on. He just stays on the bicycle. What I mean by advancing the defense is you're supposed to continually not only take tools away, but make someone pay a tax every time they try to mount an offense against you. And the more you figure them out, the higher the tax gets, right? And Tyron Woodley's really good at that. Tyron Woodley's really good for charging a tariff on bringing the fight to him. And he's
absolutely.
also very patient and he's also very savvy. So
Yes.
in that sense, it's hard for me to bet against Woodley.
Mhm.
Usman's on such a ridiculous tear though. You know, and like you said, super athletic. So it's kind of a hard fight to call in that sense because Woodley he looks young, but he is getting older.
Yeah.
And you don't know when that's gonna. It's almost like what I said about John. Like John, he's made a little younger by what's going on, and he's not old anyway. But Woodley is older, so now I'm starting to look for that time of, well, could this be the one where we start to see that turn for Woodley?
Yeah, you wonder about that, but from what I've always noticed about Woodley is that Woodley has a problem with guys who can force him to back up.
Mm-hmm.
If Because Rory McDonald is the last guy to beat him about 5 years ago, and he was able to neutralize Woodley's offense and Woodley's ability to counter with his length and by forcing him backwards. Now, Woodley has since made some adjustments to that, and he's beaten two guys who would have seemingly had the same type of, the same type of physical dimensions and same types of skill in Wonder Boy Thompson and Darren Till. So he's been able to counteract that. That's the one thing I think Woodley doesn't get credit enough for his genius level fight IQ.
Oh, that's why for me it's hard to call because I have such an immense respect for his fight IQ.
Hmm.
I mean, we talked about this before. How I feel like Dana has been unfair to Woodley
Oh
for
yeah, absolutely.
fighting
Everybody, yeah.
great, smart fights.
Yeah.
And when he fought guys that he felt were super dangerous, he neutralized their danger, and they get hit so hard they don't they don't feel motivated to risk their health to take the fight from him when he's clearly winning. I don't think that's on Woodley. I think that's just how fighting is sometimes. Is sometimes you get two guys who are really good and one guy has that slight advantage and the other guy says the only way for me to take that advantage from you is to get knocked into next week and take a few years off my career. And I think I would just have to hold this L unless I catch
Yeah.
and I don't think that's on Woodley. So Woodley's actually one of my favorite fighters, and I don't want to be biased and that's why I say it's hard for me to pick because if I was picking with my heart, I would pick Woodley because I have so much respect for him. But I think Usman's work to date has to be respected, and that kind of for me leans me towards a pick 'em.
Yeah, I take Woodley because of the fight IQ and because of the experience and because of the punching power. I think he cracks harder than Usman So I think that in those exchanges, I think he has the edge. I
Yeah.
think that wrestling is probably equal. I would
Hmm.
say that Tyron Woodley's submission skills are above Usman's.
Hmm.
Usman's a top controlled pound beat you up type of a guy, not as much of a submissions guy. Um, so that, just breaking it down like that, I would give Woodley the edge. I mean, Usman's only had 15 fights, but he's only ever won one fight ever by submission, and that wasn't, that was like in his uh in his UFC debut back at the
Yeah.
Ultimate Fighter finale. Um,
And he
so
hasn't knocked anybody out since 2014. So
yeah, no, he knocked somebody out in 2017.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
was going to say he knocked somebody out once since.
yeah, he knocked out Sergio Moraes, which is okay,
Well, it depends on the definition of anybody.
right, you know what I mean. So yeah, I just Willie just has an edge from in a power standpoint, and I think on an offensive submission style. So I'm gonna give him the edge. Would I be shocked out of my shoes if Usman won? No, I'd be fairly surprised, but
Yeah.
not totally shocked.
So last question on that. Are you expecting a great fight on that one?
Not necessarily, no.
Right. Think it'll be a sleeper, or do you think Woodley will finish him earlier than we think?
I think that Woodley can finish him, but I think Woodley will make the assessment of what this fight is
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in the first or second round, and he'll take advantage of whatever needs to be taken advantage of in time being. And Dana and those guys and whoever else doesn't like Woodley anyway, because for whatever reason they don't like him, they can just be mad. But Tyron's going to do what Tyron has to do to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I respect and love about him more than anything. You can let these people say whatever they want to say. None of them are in here taking these punches.
Absolutely.
None of them are in here
Oh.
taking these slams. None of them are in here doing any of this. I gotta win, because the moment I don't win, because you don't like me, you're gonna banish me to the mid card, and I'm not gonna get a shot for the rest of my career. I'm 36 years old already. I got to do what I got to do. So I got mad respect for him and for that. So it is what it is.